Alright, what is going on YouTube? Heartt versus MarineLord Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers, one of the most interesting series for me. Heartt, the fifth member of Aftermath Gaming, and MarineLord, a former StarCraft pro who has played in quite a lot of high-level tournaments as well. His most notable achievement being second place in 2016 DreamHack Valencia, and has started playing Age of Empires about a year ago. He's one of the fastest players I've seen playing competitive Age of Empires. The main issue with him is that the experience is somewhat lacking. However, as he plays more, that's going to start coming in as well for him. So this is, for me, one of the most interesting series because I feel like this could be very, very balanced overall. Unfortunately, the players have not posted the map draft, so we can't take a look at that right now. We can just only take a look at the civilization draft as I'm casting this one live. Here's the civ draft. So Vikings, Tatars, Mayans, Khmer, Saracens, Malians available for MarineLord, and Heartt will be using Lithuanians, Huns, Franks, Portuguese, Berbers, and Britons overall. Global bans are Aztecs and Italians. The Italian global ban makes me feel like there is going to be islands involved, but it is a somewhat unfortunate side effect that they haven't posted the maps on AoE zone. Anyways, we'll have a game number 1 over here, which obviously is going to be Arabia, and we'll have a Franks versus Mayans matchup over here in this. So everything is set, and we'll be able to jump into game number 1 over here. So welcome to Arabia. We're going to have on the left side MarineLord in red playing as Mayans. Right side will be Heartt playing as Franks. Two very, very standard Arabia civilizations overall. I actually like Mayans here a little bit better, but both of these civilizations are completely viable. So one of the beautiful things about this matchup is that it is extremely hard to predict. I can see Heartt winning 3-0 based on just pure experience. I can see MarineLord winning 3-0 based on just outskilling his opponent, or I can see this one being a very, very close series as well. So I have absolutely no idea how this is gonna go. I am myself a huge MarineLord fan, so this is one of the reasons why I'm going to say that I'm going to predict 3-2 for Heartt, but as I said, one of the most interesting players out there in the AoE2 community is MarineLord, because I'm really curious what he's going to be able to achieve with the skills that he has brought in from competitive StarCraft. Anyways, Heartt is going to have a nice little gold med back and overall a beautiful base, to be honest. The wood lines are quite plentiful, relatively easy vol-offs overall. The berries aren't perfect, but it is definitely volable. Stone on the front isn't ideal, and the other stone is even worse. And with Franks, you can make a case for a need for stone, because if your opponent is going for a pike-heavy play, then you like to have the ability to drop a castle and go for throwing axemen. So it is not ideal that your stone mines are open like this, but it is definitely going to be accessible for Heartt. I don't think that this base is anything to be having problems with. He's going to have a very nice base, especially the gold mine being at the back is very helpful. Other side, MarineLord has a slightly more open map, I would say, but this is definitely one of the more okay map generations from what I have seen. Right side is easily volable, berries are at the back, which is nice. There is a woodline over here that's relatively safe, the rest of the woodlines are a little bit more problematic. And this gold mine, it's not ideal, but if you actually wall in front and you're just gonna place your barracks over here, stable over here, well, not stable because you're Mayans, but arch range over here, then you're gonna have no trouble protecting that gold. Wood lines could be a little bit concerning, but since the Frankish player is somewhat likely to open scouts, it is more than possible for MarineLord to be able to protect his initial starting base. Stone mines aren't perfect for him, and obviously Mayans will want to be on stone eventually, but this is definitely protectable in the future. You may actually want to TC this one in the future. Anyways, so we're gonna have deer push coming in here from both players. It looks like Heartt only pushed in one deer, and now he is moving towards his opponent's base. MarineLord, as I said in the intro, one of the unique things about MarineLord is that he's doing a lot of things differently than other players. So MarineLord didn't just sit down and watch YouTube videos on how do I play Age of Empires, he kind of figured it out for himself. So you're going to see discrepancies in build orders, for example, a tiny bit. You're going to see Vultures having a goofy dance over there before being fixed by MarineLord. But basically, as I said, you will see discrepancies in build orders. You are going to see minor changes overall in playstyle. He's basically the literal definition of a non-standard player. Anyways, we are gonna have the second board coming in here for him. And where is Heartt at? Why is there a hunter over here? I have no idea, but this is the first thing I want to show you. That Heartt, I think this is already his second board, whereas on the other side, MarineLord is just bringing in his second board over here. So the build order differences will be very, very interesting to take a look at over here. Anyways, relic spawn is completely balanced if you take a look at this one. So basically 2 on the side of MarineLord, 1 in the direct center of the map, and the 2 on the side of a Heartt. And Heartt for now is just going to start blocking off the left side of his base, going for nice and comfy 20 pop scouts play. Whereas MarineLord, as I said, evaluating his build order is going to be a little bit harder because he's doing a lot of non-standard things. And he seems like he has a very, very far away deer patch, but he's going to have no trouble pushing in the deer. In fact, that's a very, very clean deer push, to be honest. That's not an easy one to pull off, and so far he has been doing nicely. MarineLord right now is rank 124 on the overall leaderboard, and someone said he's seat 60, whereas Heartt is seat 5. But as I said, it would be a mistake for Heartt to underestimate his opponent over here. So for now, Heartt is going to be rocking with 2 wood lines, 4 on berries. The Frankish berry bonus has been slightly nerfed, but it's still a nice and easy early eco bonus. So we are gonna have a Brax coming in here from Heartt. Probably stable will be adjacent to that. Other side, Brax is up for MarineLord, and it looks like this is gonna be Men-at-Arms play from him. A very, very standard 22 pop Men-at-Arms opening. I think that the Men-at-Arms opening is completely viable against the Scouts play if you yourself are Vod. This mining cap is not something I necessarily like for MarineLord. You could have made a case for having a Voyager in here and then dropping the mining camp behind that wheel, so that's going to be a little bit more efficiency. In fact, that mining camp is actually pretty bad in positioning. As I said, one of the things that MarineLord is lacking is sort of experience compared to the other players. So that means that things like these will occur with him. Anyways, here are the soon-to-be Men-at-Arms. Heartt knows exactly that there is Men-at-Arms coming his way. However, the stable is just coming out, and since Heartt isn't fully Vod, Heartt may need to use his scout to defend against the Men-at-Arms. And the thing is that the Men-at-Arms are actually pretty decent at dealing with scouts over here. For now, it seems like MarineLord isn't really going to bother walling himself up that much, which could be a problem, because the main concern when you're fighting Men-at-Arms against scouts is that if your opponent is able to wall himself in nicely, then the scouts can go directly to your eco, so you may be exposed to the scouts. So I feel like if you're MarineLord in this situation, you have to start walling yourself up, because there is going to be an inevitable scout counterattack. Heartt may play it safe and just try to trade off his scouts to the Men-at-Arms, but if he plays greedily, he will just try to wall his wheels and send the scouts forward. Anyways, he's waiting for an additional scout to come in, and MarineLord looks like he's going to take this engagement, get some nice hits on that scout. Let's see if there's a spearman coming in here for him, and the answer is no. In this case, I could really make a case for just adding a spearman. There is a spearman already for MarineLord, and he is going to get a couple of nice hits over there, but that spearman is isolated, so he's going to lose that pretty easily. In this case, I could completely understand that trade though from MarineLord. Like, it wasn't perfect, but many of those scouts are weak. And the path side wall, I think here, will be broken through. And it looks like Heartt is gonna pull the boys to fight this one. Remember that behind this one, MarineLord is able to get the archers out. And this actually turns out to be an okay-ish trade for him. Nice micro from Heartt, by the way. It's a very, very nice micro. Loses to scouts, but cleans up the Men-at-Arms and the Eagle, which is more important over here. So he's gonna go for the scouts now coming in. But in terms of investment, I feel like this was something that Heartt could have justified. So he's already going for archers. He's gonna be getting some spearmen out. This spearman is useless here, for example. This spearman should be on this wood line or the berries. Woes are coming in right now for MarineLord, and I think he's gonna be able to finish this one off before the scouts arrive. When I was coached by Nikov back in the days, I think it was Nikov, he said I should never, or it might have been Dogao, I don't know. He said I should never wall with a house exactly because of this reason. Obviously, you can do house walls, but in situations like this, you don't want to just drop the house and wait until it finishes, because this house takes much more time to complete than 2 separate palisade wall tiles, so you're getting heavily delayed over here. Anyways, we are gonna have a heavy farming over here by MarineLord. So it looks like he's going to play very defensive for now, coming up with the walls. And that's something that you can easily justify against Franks with Mayans, to be honest. Like, the thing is that Franks are trying to play with scouts here, and unless Heartt adds skirmishers, it's not going to be possible for him to get through these walls. It looks like he is going to add skirms. Interesting that he's attacking this house instead of the palisade wall, which would be much more easily broken through. In terms of villager idle time, Heartt actually has more idle time than MarineLord. MarineLord has a little bit more TC idle time, though, at the end of the day. Here, what you can do is take this hill, pick off the scouts. The skirms alone won't be able to get through the walls, so you want to try to dive in and pick off the scouts before they actually do damage to your walls. For now, he's going to be playing with one range only, and he's playing very defensive over here. So he really is playing this one quite greedy, but this is exactly how he's supposed to be doing this one. Nice micro over there from Heartt, picking off the spearman with the skirms, but this is going to be a nice little reroll over here. It's a little bit risky to try and get the blacksmith up over there, because the skirms might actually try denying that, but eventually this is going up. And if you look at the resources, MarineLord, after wheelbarrow, he is supposed to be able to click up, so he's been playing this one greedily. It is a debatable question if you actually want to get the fletching in this case, because you're not actually taking direct engagements, but this is exactly what MarineLord is supposed to be doing. Just make sure that those scouts can't hit the walls, and the skirms alone won't be enough. You could even make a case for a couple tiles of stone walls to prevent Heartt from breaking in, and somewhat surprisingly, Heartt is trying to get through the houses, which is much harder than the palisade walls. I just don't understand that. Like, fuel age units won't get you through houses. There is no way that that is going to be a possibility. So Heartt, on the other hand, remember that he has the free horse color upgrade. Overall, he had the berry bonus, so it looks like his castle age time will be comparable to MarineLord's, if not better. So maybe there is going to be a cleaner transition from Heartt to Castle Age over here, but remember something, Heartt is going to have to start adding knights in Castle Age, which is something that he can only start doing when he reaches castle, whereas MarineLord is able to mass his archers already in feudal. Somehow MarineLord still falls behind, which is surprising, because from every aspect of the game, he's technically leading. He's got the one villager lead, he had less idle villager time, he had less TC idle time, so I'm very surprised that Heartt is able to click up here. Probably the reason behind that is because MarineLord is a little bit too heavy on gold right now. Well, he's not too heavy, but he's floating quite a lot of gold over here, and now he can keep making archers. He's completely fine though. So, someone said it's seat 5 versus seat 60. This doesn't look like a game like that, to be honest, so far. This is absolutely winnable for both players right now, and considering how many skirms Heartt has on the field, I wouldn't be surprised to see an elite skirm play here from him. The real question is if we're going to see an ego transition from MarineLord. He's gonna get a second range over here to an interesting position. He might be trying to hide that, but that's still a bad spot. If you're trying to hide a range, you place it somewhere around over here, because that is outside of the vision of the opponent. And more importantly, it can still help you kind of act as a backup wall. Anyways, it looks like MarineLord wants to move out and counterattack with the crossbows, and Heartt might have noticed this. If he just right-clicks inside here, he's gonna be able to find this one. But yeah, this is gonna be a little bit scary for MarineLord if he doesn't wall that off, but he's gonna go for that. Heartt is going to spot that army and is going to go right away to intercept it. Crossbows will arrive pretty soon, but there is still going to be a 40 seconds time until MarineLord reaches Castage, and now he's gonna have to fall back, to be honest, because, as I said, his army is gonna get intercepted by potentially elite skirms. There is going to be egos for MarineLord, but it's just an auxiliary force. So here in this case, Knight and elite skirm is something I like a lot more than the crossbow ego play overall. And that's going to be a market coming up and potentially a TC here. Interesting TC spot, but it's actually something that I really like. Like, eventually that's going to be able to protect this part of your wall. Unless the elite skirms will just deny that. And that's something that MarineLord may have been unprepared for. So, if you're MarineLord, you may need a defensive siege workshop for mangonels, and indeed that TC may have been a bad idea. And this is what I was referencing to when it comes to lack of experience. Things like these could actually fall apart for MarineLord, and indeed that TC is gonna go denied. We'll see what these crossbows can accomplish, because Heartt is dropping TC number 2 right now, but he's got some exposed wood lines, and Heartt, that's a nice move. Bringing in one skirm to deny the wood line from the other side, and now what MarineLord needs to do is just bring in a couple more villagers to get this up, or potentially try to get a siege workshop out, and get a shot on those elite skirms. But now the problem for MarineLord is that, as I said, I think he has walled a little bit too close to his gold mine. And that means that the skirmishers will be able to deny the gold mine. And oh no, the Knights breaks through. Disaster. Full disaster. He has the counterattack over here, but I think he underestimated the effect of this push. And oh man, that hurts so much. And everything I said before this series, everything I said about this series was shown in here. The inexperience and like the skills are there for MarineLord, but this is such a, I'm not going to say rookie mistake, but this is a mistake I would criticize for any player. If it is a 1600, if it's a 1300, why not just vote 2 tiles more to the front? If you do that, your gold mine is much safer. And as long as your opponent is having scouts, these walls are nice, but I'm always emphasizing that if you have a wall like, or gold like this, wall in a way that you will be able to access this side even against 6 or 7 range units over here. At least 6 range units, but potentially 7 is the ideal, right? Because basically what happened for MarineLord, the town center is understandable. The problem is that he didn't have the siege workshop to deal with these skirms, and more importantly, I don't think that he actually expected this TC to be denied. If this TC goes up, it's actually a very nice TC. However, a more experienced player probably would have seen that, hey, this is going to be troublesome. And as I said, just a couple more tiles forward would have been a lot better. Also, I think that if this arch range goes up here, and then the walls are here instead of having the range here and houses here, it would have been also a little bit more efficient. So, yeah, a little bit of issue over here for MarineLord. I feel like he can win, but he needs to make sure he doesn't do stupid mistakes like this. Because Heartt, I think Heartt was in a slightly better position overall after that TC was denied. Even if these guys don't get into MarineLord's eco, Heartt was in a better position because of this TC denied. However, this game was far from gone. The villager count was even. And by the way, MarineLord had a bunch of crossbows coming towards Heartt's base, and Heartt had one elite skirm and basically one knight back at home to defend. This could have been 10 villagers lost from Heartt. Maybe those crossbows get in here and kill all these villagers. This game wasn't lost for MarineLord until these guys have broken through here, and that can all be traced back to a somewhat sloppy walling in front of that gold mine. And also, I think that the barracks could have been also here. Like, you want to make sure that these big buildings that have a lot of HP on them are in front of key resources, so that they may, like, it's much harder to kill a barracks than it is to kill a house, or even more so a palisade. So you want these buildings in front of your key resources. If it was barracks range here, it would be impossible for Heartt to pressure from this angle, and he would need to pressure from this angle, which you can house wall away. So yeah, these are the minor things that MarineLord needs to clean up over here in order to become a top 30, 50 player. Right now he's in top 100. But he's one of those players, I think that if MarineLord took coach, any of the top 20 players, if MarineLord took a couple of coaching lessons from them, he could be there in the top 30 very, very soon. Because the mechanical skills are insane. It is minor different or minor small things that can make you lose games like this. And Heartt is experienced enough to exploit such mistakes from his opponents. A rather easy win for Heartt over here. Only 12 units killed by Heartt, and just 5 lost overall. So, was rather clean. Let's hope that the rest of the games will be a little bit more competitive, because I had high hopes for this series. But the other thing that I want to say here is that the fact that you have a former StarCraft pro, the fact that he was a former esports player also means that he's got a pretty decent mental attitude when it comes to, you know, saying, hey, okay, this was a disaster game, and let's just clean my head and go forward. And it looks like we're going to islands in the next map. So MarineLord's first home map is gonna be islands, and we will lose Franks over here for Heartt, and we have Mayans taken by MarineLord. So islands is gonna be either Saracens or Vikings for MarineLord. I would think that he's gonna try Vikings here. Other side is likely to going to be Portuguese, and we'll see what Heartt has on his mind. Alternative could be Berbers, which would also be an intriguing decision. Italians were banned by Heartt, so he doesn't really want to play islands over here. He banned potentially the best civilization on islands, but honestly, he kind of has to go Portuguese here, because I don't think that Berbers are good enough to match up against Vikings. Like, the extra speed on the ships is fine, however, that's all the bonus that you're getting, whereas Vikings will be having an insane eco behind that one. At least with Portuguese, you would be getting the cheaper ships and overall cheaper gold units, which could be extremely helpful. So I would think it has to be a Vikings versus Portuguese matchup. But we'll soon figure out, I guess, as they will be jumping into the next game. I will actually take a look at Liquipedia, the AoE part of Liquipedia, actually. On the Hidden Cup qualifiers to check out, where is it at? Which part of the bracket they are in. They are in the same part of the bracket as Bad Koala, Tim, Ra, Bars, Valas, Rubenstock. So theoretically, who wins this one is going to have a pretty decent chance of getting through here. Like, the strongest players here on this part of the bracket is probably Rubenstock, Bars, and Heartt. So if Heartt wins this one, he's gonna have to beat Rubenstock and eventually Bars, I would think. Tim and Bad Koala may also be able to influence this one, but I would think that Heartt's actually getting one of the stronger opponents here in the first rounds in this one. And if MarineLord beats Heartt, he would be fighting against Rubenstock or Valas. And honestly, that may be slightly easier than Heartt, to be honest. So this is a relatively open bracket, I would say. I can see 3 or 4 players that could be possibility to qualify. And the thing is that none of these players, I think, actually played. Maybe, no, there was no players from this part of the bracket that actually played in Hidden Cup 3. So identifying these players, whoever actually gets in there, like MarineLord, Rubenstock, Heartt, Bars, it's going to be tough. There will be ways. Rubenstock obviously is going to be the easiest to identify, I would say. Then I would think that Bars is actually pretty easy to identify because Bars loves Premier Drushes. So we'll see if he gets there. I don't think that it's going to be that challenging for us to spot him. Anyways, welcome to game number 2, which is Islands. Heartt is going to be playing Portuguese. And on the other side, MarineLord is playing Saracens. So he leaves Vikings to a different map. And he's actually going to play with the Galley Rate of Fire bonus over here. Interesting decision. The thing is that Portuguese will have a slightly stronger eco, but not by a massive margin. It's not like they have any amazing eco bonuses at the beginning that you would be able to use to get past Saracens. If it was a Vikings versus Portuguese matchup, I would borderline say that I love the Vikings over the Portuguese. Here in this case, the ecos will be relatively even. The fact that you have Saracens will give you a little bit of a leverage at balancing out eco. Faster rate of fire for the galleys will be nice. On the other side, Heartt is going to have more HP on those ships, so the two things sort of cancel out, and at the end of the day, I think this is probably going to go down to Galley Micro, and one thing that we have to keep in mind is that MarineLord is a very, very fast player, and this may be a good idea for him to do. Think about this. Galley Micro and getting a good eco behind that one is actually very, very APM intensive. And that means that if he thinks that he's the faster player, that could be something that he could actually capitalize on. Anyways, Voyager coming in here to drop a dock on the front. So we may see Fire Galley opening here from MarineLord. with a front dock, and we're also going to have a front dock over here from Heartt. So the thing is that if MarineLord drops the dock here, he's gonna have a nice access to deep fish, and oh no, MarineLord, what are you doing? Is he not seeing that shore fish? Now, that being said, what is he doing? What is he doing? What are you doing, my man? I don't understand. Does he actually want to play side docks? Why did you... that is so much idle time on that vulture. Like, all that walking, and he should be building that dock by now. If you take a look at Heartt, Heartt has got that dock at 60%. Now, that being said, this dock actually is going to be much, much better than the dock here would be. I would have said that this dock here would have been bad. This dock here would have been decent. This dock is going to be actually pretty nice, although there isn't really one drop of deep fish very, very close by, but you're actually pretty open here, which means that you will have a lot of nearby deep fish overall in the long run. So, anyways, we are gonna have the first board in here. Overall, looking at the islands are actually very, very similar. In fact, I would borderline say they are mirror images of each other, to be honest. So, MarineLord, let's see if he's gonna be able to find that deep fish over here. Yes, he will. So, not the most perfect deep fish over here, but in the long run, this is actually a very, very nice fishing opportunity for him. Heartt actually has a little bit better deep fish spawn here. Like, this is two very, very close deep fish for him, which is going to give him a nice little advantage at the beginning of the game. Indeed, there is Robos on this island, which is reminiscent of T90 placing 3 archery ranges on the neutral island. That is a meme of Hidden Cup. Hidden Cup 3 was the first map that introduced this meme, and Hidden Cup 3 islands also had this one implemented. So, with that, that's a very, very fast feudal age over here from Heartt, and he is going to be beating his opponent a tiny bit into feudal age. In fact, did MarineLord eat both of his boars? Yes, it seems like he did, and he's still very, very low on food. I wonder why. He's got the fishing ships, and the dock wasn't that late, so maybe Heartt pushed in a lot more deer. I think he did. Heartt may have been doing full deers. No, it's only 2 deer pushed in at maximum. Whereas MarineLord, I think he pushed in 1 deer. So it wasn't that bad of early eco from MarineLord. I don't know what happened here. 24 seconds of peace idle time. But he's gonna get beaten to feudal age here by almost a minute. That is brutal. That is absolutely brutal, and I have no idea why he was beaten to feudal age by that much, because it's not like his early eco was bad or anything. He is a little bit low on wood right now. He's gonna have to place a mining camp here still. That's a nice mining camp, although you could have made a case once again of putting 2 vultures in here and making the mining camp behind them, because then those 2 vultures are super, super efficient, and you can just use the other 2 wheels on the outside. Not really a big deal, but for example, this is something that you want to avoid, because this is a lot of bumping into each other. You probably split 2 vultures here, 2 vultures here. Minor things, but those things could be important. And MarineLord is actually going to scout his opponent for docks. That is actually smart. And the thing is that if you take a look at Heartt scouting, where is Heartt going to look for docks? That's the question. Because Heartt is opening with fire galleys, and I would think that Heartt is going to look for docks around here, and not necessarily up here. And that could allow MarineLord to go for galleys first over here. So it looks like it's going to be a straight galley pay. A little bit low on wood is MarineLord, so he can only afford 1 galley. This may be a little bit sloppy. I don't think that you need a 3rd dock just now when you can't even afford to make galleys on 2 docks, and that fire galley is going straight towards the docks of his opponent over here. Oh boy, MarineLord could be in trouble here, because in order to be able to work well with galleys, you have to be able to mass them. So free fishing ships could be going down, and in this case, you don't pop out the first galley. You actually garrison them inside the docks, and when you have like 5 or 6, you start popping them out. He's trying his best to out-micro these ships, but these ships even have more HP on them. That being said, the villager count is 1 advantage for Heartt. I like that MarineLord isn't losing his fishing ships. In fact, he's going to reposition them, And this galley is also going to survive, so maybe this is not the end of the world for MarineLord, but right now it doesn't seem like he is really a MarineLord. Seems more like he's gonna get stormed on water. However, one or two good demo hits could also change the outcome of battles, and that's something that we always have to keep in mind. Nice split over there, by the way, from Heartt. And in the meanwhile, MarineLord is actually going to have a galley looping around. I wonder if this is going to be sneakily trying to hit the fishing ships over here. Now, Heartt also has a free docks, starts transitioning into galleys. There is a demo over here, which could be pretty nice. Now the opportunity has passed. And now MarineLord is just waiting until he can actually unpop all those ships. Once again, it's just a little bit sloppy for him to just unpop that fire galley. And the real problem that he's facing right now is that his fire galleys are actually worse than the opponent's fire galleys here. That's a very, very inefficient demo as well. So this is not looking great for MarineLord by any means. In fact, if he doesn't have another good demo hit here, he's gonna be absolutely destroyed on water. Oh boy. I understand the galley play, but like fishing ships are just chilling in the middle of this absolute carnage. But if you actually want to play galleys, you should have just kept your galleys inside your docks, and when you have like 8 of them, you pop them out. He's going to try to sail away, and he has a sneaky galley over here that may be waiting for the opportunity to sink the opponent's fishing eco here. But this demo, once again, is going to be quite inefficient. Funnily enough, he still has his fishing eco alive, which is crazy, and that actually impacts his eco quite heavily. Eventually, these will now go down, but he's sinking one galley over here. The other fire galley is still there. As I said, Heartt is going to be able to sink those ships very easily, and MarineLord tries to take that Voyager down. I don't think that's going to be the case. I love how Heartt is actually using the shorefish next to each of his docks. That's absolutely nice from him. And MarineLord trying to get some more galleys on the field. He is without fletching, whereas his opponent already has fletching in here. In fact, MarineLord has a blacksmith, but a little bit low on food he is to get fletching. And he also has a lot more T-saddle time now that his fishing eco is gone, because he's saving up for fletching, but his food eco isn't really satisfactory for that at this very moment. So, fletching now coming in. That being said, it's not like Heartt has an overwhelming fleet over here, right? So it is 6 galleys. MarineLord is going to have 6 galleys pretty soon, and the rate of fire bonus is a little bit more of an advantage compared to the HP bonus. It's 10% HP, and other side, I don't know how faster they are firing, but I think that firing rate bonus is actually a little bit more important or a little bit more impactful than the HP bonus overall. MarineLord still doesn't have a market, which is surprising, because with Saracens, I would think that here in this case, you just start sending Voyagers to stone, start selling your stone, and buy food instead of actually sending Voyagers to food, and that would be completely viable. That being said, it's 7 to 7 ships now. Heartt has a 7 Voyagers lead, however, partially coming from the awful DC idle time discrepancy, but that could change if MarineLord is able to take down the fishing ships. Yes, MarineLord, exactly. He is a former StarCraft 2 player. In fact, he's still active, but I'm not sure how high level he is. He used to be very, very good. Like, we actually took a look at that at the beginning of the stream, that he had the 2nd place in DreamHack Valencia in 2016, so he was actually among the very, very good StarCraft players, and as I said, mechanical skill-wise, he's insanely fast. He's probably among the top 15 fastest Age of Empires players, maybe even top 10. It's a matter of experience, and that is sort of lacking for him. And that's one of the reasons why he lost Arabia, and that's why he's also in a losing position here. Heartt is going up to Castle Age here, so unless MarineLord is able to take this fleet down here, he's gonna be in trouble, and he needs a market like ASAP, which is just coming up. Sell the stone and go up with Saracens. That's more than reasonable to do. I'm not sure if he knows that his opponent is up, but he may be aware. And the thing is that when Heartt is up, he's gonna have a reasonable fleet of war galleys. It's 1300 health on these ships, only 800 for MarineLord, so he's getting heavily outnumbered now. And remember that in the meanwhile, as we have indeed eco balance from MarineLord and he's going up, it is extremely important that Heartt, number 1, was able to keep his fishing eco alive. Number 2, was able to access this shorefish right next to his docks, which also helps immensely when it comes to extra food eco. Neither of these things were possible for MarineLord, and that is a massive difference. And this is the problem. it's 10 seconds remaining as opposed to 150, and that's way, 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 way too much time. So now MarineLord will try to dive in, but I think in this case you kind of have to just agree to the fact that you're not gonna be able to take this fleet down anymore. The thing is that War Galley upgrade is rather fast, so it's not like you just dive in and take those ships down. Heartt is gonna be able to potentially take down the docks here as well. So we'll see what MarineLord can do, but he may need to redock, and he's going to start doing that right away. He's also doing a lot of farming, which, as I said, is a little bit unconventional for Saracens. Oftentimes you just buy the food, and this is the moment for MarineLord. He has to strike on those fishing ships, and that would be a very nice move. Sinks one, a little bit of a lag spike, kills the wheel. Sinks 2, sinks 3. That's very nicely done. And now he needs to run away, though, because Heartt is going to pull his entire fleet back to clean this up. And that would be a massive misplay if he actually kept his fleet over here. He's trying to do damage to this dock as much as possible. Now he sees the fleet and tries to disengage, but he's trying to fight galleys against war galleys once again. I feel like that's a little bit overly ambitious. He's up now. So he needs Botkin, he needs War Galley, both of those are something he can afford. The docks are still standing, or at least one of them. 4 more docks coming in here. It would be 15 War Galleys with Saracens versus 19. So it's not that impossible for MarineLord to bring back, but many of these galleys are rather weak in HP. So we'll see what happens over here. Heartt actually has a lot more idle time in villagers. That's something that's worth monitoring, though. Careening coming in here early, so he wants to make sure that he's getting a nice little edge over his opponent. And the thing is that he's almost getting cornered. I don't think that he's got 30 more seconds until careening. That would give 1 more Pierce Armor to his War Galleys, and that would make them clearly superior compared to his opponent's War Galleys. Let's see the fight over here. It is 12 War Galleys against 18 ships combined. And I feel like this is a stomp and MarineLord taps out. Feels bad, man. Like, early, I feel sad for MarineLord because you see that he's not a bad player. It's just minor things going in the wrong direction. And great players like Heartt will be able to exploit minor things like that. Like, for example, being beaten to feudal by that much. But more importantly, the fact that you just unpop your galleys. I think in Feudal Age, what MarineLord should have done is just settle with the fact that his docks will survive for some time. And he can mass like 2 or 3 galleys in each of those. And then unpop them at the same time, and then he's gonna be able to take down the fire ships very easily. But yeah, this fight wasn't that great over here for him either. And I also feel like he didn't necessarily grab the most important part of the Saracens. Like, that market was so late, and he started investing into farms. And with Saracens, you don't do that. You just mine stone and gold, and you just buy resources. So that's 2 games for Heartt. 1 on the home map of a MarineLord. And that would bring us to the second home map. Yeah, honestly, that's the other thing, like side docks. I'm not sure if this was intentional to do front dock galleys, but if this was side dock galleys, it would have been very, very different. And this is why I feel like all that MarineLord needs to become a top 30 player is to have one of the pro players coach him. Like, he probably doesn't even need a pro player to coach him. He just needs someone that is a little bit more experienced than him in terms of Age Vampires, because the raw skills are insane. It's a matter of knowing these little things, that if you play galleys, you do side docks. And I'm not sure if he did notice, because these are not necessarily straightforward. And I said at the beginning that he's one of those players that he likes to experience the game for himself and develop his own understanding of the game. So yeah, that's basically it. All right, so that leaves Saracens gone for MarineLord, and that leaves Portuguese gone for Heartt. So we have, let's see if they actually updated this post and posted their own home maps. I don't know if they did. They did. Heartt, look at that, 22 minutes ago. Totally not after the first game. MarineLord picked Bay, so we're gonna go for Bay over here. Slopes and Hideout, well, Slopes is the home map of Heartt. He bans Hideout and he picks Gold Rush. So MarineLord if he wants to make a comeback, he's gonna have to win all those maps, and we're going to Bay, which will be probably Berbers. Yeah, Berbers is the most likely scenario for Heartt, or maybe Lithuanians on Bay. In fact, Lithuanians would make quite a lot of sense because of the fixed relic positions on Bay, plus the extra food you start with, so you can get a nice early feudal. Other side, MarineLord has Vikings, but Bay is definitely not a Vikings map because you can't really play galleys over there. You have to play fire galleys. So I am somewhat tempted to say that maybe Malians. Yeah, Malians may be the most reasonable Sif here for MarineLord, but I would prefer Berbers over them, to be honest. So, with that, let's see if they have the game up over here. Find custom game. MarineLord. You asked earlier how good MarineLord is in StarCraft 2 these days. I would say he's about as good as in StarCraft 2 as Bars in AoE 2. Her story is similar since they both got a break from the game. I see. Yeah, that makes sense. So he's probably top 25-ish in StarCraft then. And he's spending a lot of time playing AoE, so that is also something that you want to add in this one, that obviously while he's playing AoE, he is not actually able to play StarCraft. Alright, welcome to Bay over here, or also known as Pence. So we are gonna have Heartt playing in a blue on the left side of the map in Lithuanians. No surprise about that. You actually have a nice low start with the extra food. Allows you to go into a fast feudal age here. And the other thing is that the relics here are pretty well, like, they're evenly positioned, and it's fixed position as well, which means that you know that you have at least one relic guaranteed, but most likely two or maybe even three relics are possible here for Heartt. Now, MarineLord is playing Malians. Yeah, that's fine here, but I would probably prefer Lithuanians over here. The real question is that MarineLord so far has been playing quite defensive, especially if you take a look at the Arabia game. And the thing is that against Lithuanians, you have to play aggressive, otherwise your opponent is just going to pick up all the relics. So MarineLord has to be a little bit more aggressive. So, what are we going to have here? He's got an okay gold mine, and one of the most important things for him, I believe, is that these wood lines are super easy to wall, as you have Rick Sea Dragon. Thank you so much for the sub. Welcome. I greatly appreciate your support. So, it's very easy to wall this base off overall. What I dislike is that all of these woodlands could be denied by archers, and even though Lithuanians aren't necessarily going for archers, it is totally viable to play a couple of crossbows or skirmishers and make life of your opponent miserable with such woodlines. So if there was a woodline back over here, I would say that this is a perfect map for MarineLord, because the berries are safe, boars are even at the back, this gold is rather safe, it's easy wall off, there is a secondary gold over here. The thing that is missing, in my perspective, is, as I said, the woodline at the back. Other side, we will have an early dock. Actually, is that an early dock? That's not an early dock for Heartt. More importantly, MarineLord is not docking. That's the more interesting question. That, from what I have seen in Hidden Cup 3, basically the majority of the people did dock on this map because the fact that you just give an untouched fish boom for your opponent could be very devastating. And once again, the inexperience could show for MarineLord. You don't send out a Voyager without Loom or without Scout support. And you see that he's looking for his opponent's Scout. Oh, that's smart though from him. That's very smart. That dock is still a little bit late to my taste, and Dark Age wall foundations are pretty easily broken through, so MarineLord is gonna have to pay attention to this one. MarineLord is gonna have to pay attention, but he does. Still, if you take a look at this one, Heartt already has one fishing ship out, and the next one is coming in. Speaking of Heartt's map, he has a pretty comparable map to MarineLord's one, a little bit more open on the right side, gold at the back, but he has a safe wood line over here in exchange. Now, obviously, I've said this many times, you can't actually wall this shallow patches off here. It is impossible. You can't even dock block this. I have seen attempts to use something like fishing chips on fish traps over here to kind of make it part of your wall, but that's still not really viable in the long run. Anyways, MarineLord coming in here with the first fishing ships, and indeed, sorry for that, I forgot about the fact that indeed Heartt is Lithuanians, so he can actually go for a lumber camp earlier, and potentially that's why he's got the dock faster. That's totally true. I forgot that he indeed is getting the extra food, and that can help in that way as well. So there's already the fourth fishing ship coming up for him. Over here, MarineLord bringing in the second boar, and that goose was just killed before that. That's a little bit unlucky for him overall. Loom is coming in here for Heartt, so he wants to make sure that there is going to be no sneaky drushes, potentially man-at-arms from the opponent, and I assume that he will try clicking up after. A little bit low on food he is, so he's gonna have to queue up one more will. Other side for MarineLord, I think that MarineLord is gonna have to queue up one more will himself, right? He's idling his TC an awful lot here. If he had all these villagers on the board, I would have thought that he's gonna be able to click up a little earlier. That's a lot of TC idle time, my man. 38 seconds. Every 25 seconds you idle your TC, you lose one villager. So this is almost 2 villagers lost over here. That being said, you might need to take that and swallow that pill at the end of the day, because you don't really want to get beaten into feudal age on such a map where the early fire galleys could mean so much. But there is a 2 villagers difference and a 13 seconds difference as well in a feudal age for these players, and interestingly, Heartt is going to wall himself up. The thing is that oftentimes you only start walling yourself once you know that your opponent has lost water, because you assume that your opponent is going to play water. However, in the qualifiers, especially against a somewhat unpredictable player, it is very, very likely that the opponent could potentially just surprise you with a scouts play or so. So it is somewhat understandable for Heartt to wall himself. However, that's going to be a lot of resources committed, and honestly, MarineLord is doing the play that is probably the more viable one. A second dock is coming in for both players over here, so we'll have a fire galley fights coming from both sides. The dock timings seem to be pretty clean for both. There is one extra fishing ship as well for Heartt. So the key thing here is that the first thing that you're going to do is try to kill the opponent's fishing eco and fleet with fire galley. If that doesn't work out, you will send in a demo and try to snap the fishing ships with a demo ship. Now, I'm not sure that is a scout that's trying to kill the villager over here, but that's not going to be a possibility. In fact, it didn't even land a single hit on the will, and now Heartt's scout is much, much weaker. So someone might notice, but I feel like there is more fish on this spawn than it used to be in Hidden Cup 3. And this is actually pretty clean from MarineLord. Third dock is already up, and look at the fire galleys. He's at 60%, 20%, 20% against one fire galley out, but it's 50 and 0%. So it looks like MarineLord caught the start a little bit better because he didn't invest into walls. Eventually what he needs to do is make sure that he's placing houses whenever he needs to in a way that he starts walling himself up. And he is bringing in the Voyager to get the repairs in. Second fire galley is out for Heartt, but here is number 2 and number 3 for MarineLord. And that is a temporary numbers advantage over there for him. And that is something that he can actually start using over here. Heartt retreating. Heartt is a decent water player, but I wouldn't call him an exceptional water player. And now he's gonna go for fishing ships. That's actually a nice way of doing things. Demo comes in here. Let's see if the demo can actually get a good connection. Nice splits over there by Heartt, and MarineLord is going to take down one fire galley over here, I believe. And now the other 2 fire galleys from Heartt are sort of clustered up over here. He should have deleted that demo, but that is still an okay engagement for him. Taking down the ships pretty rapidly over here. So you even see... Oh, demo! That is an exceptional split once again from MarineLord. He even takes down the scout of his opponent, and now his own scout will be coming in, and he could kill the villager. Demo comes in. You don't really want to use the demo up on the fishing ships, although that may still work out. And that is going to be a dead villager unless there is some crazy quick walls, and that is going to be potentially water lost from Heartt. That's a dead villager. Nicely done by MarineLord, and he still has 42 HP on that scout over there. Obviously he needs to split up his galleys, because if he gets a big demo hit in his face here, he's going to die very, very easily to that. But this one was definitely the better start, and this is the moment on this map where you start walling yourself up, because you don't know if Heartt is going to bail out on water. If Heartt actually is smart, he could try getting that demo in here so that he kills the scout, because that scout is pretty valuable right now for MarineLord. And MarineLord now has a free Voyager's lead that's pretty clean. And as I said, you want to start volleying yourself in this case, because if your opponent loses water, he's going to start counterattacking on land. Soon, MarineLord is going to see the archer range, I believe. In fact, did Heartt... Like, what is Heartt doing? Heartt knows about this hole, but didn't wall it in. What's the point of that, then? There is some nice demos coming in here from Heartt. MarineLord was distracted for a moment, and it looks like Heartt is not really willing to give up on water just yet. That being said, Heartt only has 5 Voyagers on food, which is not enough to keep the TC working, so you will see that TC idle time rising. In fact, it is beyond the TC idle time of MarineLord now, and MarineLord has been doing an excellent job keeping his ships alive. As I said, the main concern that he's going to be facing is that soon there is going to be archers pushing his base. He runs past the TC over here, but he will spot the archer range, and that's what matters. He didn't lame the farm, something that he could have actually done, and now he's going to get away. He should have predicted that there is going to be a land push coming his way, but now he definitely needs to wall himself up, gets the barracks on the way. So, yeah, the lack of double barracks really hurts for MarineLord, but, oh, that was a nice demo snipe over there as well from Heartt. Still, 2 fishing ships are alive. Heartt is doing what he has to in this case. So, he's making demos and trying to make sure that if he cannot use the water himself to fish, then he wants to make sure that the opponent is going to lose his entire fishing eco as well. MarineLord, nice reactions over there. There is one fire galley that was, I think, sunk by this scout, because there was a fire galley here, but that died. So, now you're gonna wall yourself up because Heartt is coming with archers, and I feel like MarineLord is somewhat underestimating the importance of those walls. Now he's coming in. And once again, you want to split these fire galleys in, but it seems like Heartt is giving up on water completely. There was a fish trap for a moment, but I don't know why you're making fish traps here. And this is the moment where I think for MarineLord he needs to start adding fishing ships, and he will do so. Obviously, this spawn doesn't have an amazing amount of fish, but what this gives you is a better castlage time, basically. That's the key thing here. Also, I'm not necessarily a fan of the palisade walls. It should be double layer palisade or just the house behind, because the palisade walls are the weakest parts of your eco, basically. And you gotta add 1 or 2 skirms over here, and this is still open. And you at least want a house over here to make sure the archers have to walk all the way around, but let's see if MarineLord starts losing villagers to these archers. There is fletching on those archers, and have I mentioned that these wood lines are all exposed to archers from MarineLord? I think I did. And that's going to be an interesting one to take a look at, that. So, first skirm goes down. Archers did take some damage over here, and if MarineLord gets 2 more skirms in, he's gonna be fine for now. But as I said, Heartt could make his life very, very annoying by just hitting the wood lines with 1 or 2 archers. And that's so sad for him. If he had a wood line at the back, this wouldn't work for Heartt. That being said, I feel like, as I said, MarineLord misplayed this one pretty badly by, for example, having this hole open. Right in the moment where your opponent loses his water, as he's mismicroing those skirms, loses 1 Voyager, right in the moment where your opponent loses water, you immediately have to start walling yourself up, because your opponent is going to come on land. Whoever gives up on water first is going to be the attacking player on water or on land. 2 more Voyagers down. Eventually, the fishing eco will sort of compensate for this. Double bit axe is there, and even wheelbarrow is there for MarineLord, so he technically still has the better eco. But once again, I feel like he's putting himself into a lot more danger than what he's supposed to be in, so to say. And we're gonna have castlage coming in here for Heartt a little bit better. MarineLord is going to be close as well. He's floating an awful lot of gold overall. And what is Heartt gonna change to? He's gonna play knights. So if you are MarineLord now, you may be considering something like camels and monks overall. The water is now his. He could actually use those fire galleys to patrol the shoreline, and he may have even over-invested into water a little bit over here. That being said, Heartt is going to have to rebuild the houses that he lost on the shoreline. So, if you're MarineLord, I think the first thing that you're going to have to do when reaching Castle Age is potentially get a TC up somewhere around over here on another wood line or here. because you need a safe source of wood. That being said, skateboarding is on the way, and the real question for MarineLord now is if he's actually going to be able to deny the relics, because this is what Lithuanians are extremely good in. On the other hand, MarineLord is going to be able to capitalize on the fishing eco, and that actually helps immensely. He will have to transition to shore fishing fish traps at some point, but this is a pure free villagers lead, and that really starts to show. If you look at the resources, MarineLord's resources are looking like miles ahead. He could potentially even afford triple stables in this scenario. You could also make an argument for making 1 or 2 scouts while you're going up here, because that scout could be, for example, positioned on relic like this, and you could actually intercept the monk and delay your opponent grabbing the relics over there. And it looks like MarineLord is diving in with the skirms. That is a sloppy play from him. Skirms aren't good enough at killing villagers, and in the meanwhile, his opponent is going to be able to counterattack with the archers. That is not something that should have happened. And now those are going to be crossbows. So MarineLord could be losing a lot of villagers here, and that's a massive misplay. Once again, decision-making is going to be an awful one from MarineLord. I like the idea of, being able to counterattack. The problem is that you don't counterattack with 5 skirms, because they're useless at killing villagers, yet they are the ones that are saving your life when it comes to dealing with these archers. We're going to have triple stables over here at the end of the day for MarineLord, and he's going to open with knights. And we'll only have 1 stable for Heartt, so in this case knights are totally viable for MarineLord, because he's gonna have the numbers advantage by a quite considerable margin. So for now he's hiding the stables. Let's see if Heartt has any idea. I think Heartt probably knows it's gonna be cavalry, but he has no 100% confirmation. A TC comes in here, and now Heartt wants to break in. For now, MarineLord just needs to make sure that he doesn't die to these crossbows. Yeah, that's easy to say. And Heartt is going to be playing 1 TC. No, actually, that's 2 TCs and forward Siege Workshop. If MarineLord is forced to defend, remember that Heartt is going to be able to start picking up relics pretty fast. Right now, he doesn't have a monastery, but that may change in the future. And as I said, MarineLord is going to have to play aggressive in here. Anyways, that's only a couple of crossbows, and we have 7 knights on the field with a +2 defense and also a couple of elite skirms. That's actually a nice idea from Heartt. He's actually getting some walls up to prevent the knights from getting a surround. Although skirmishers will still have good enough firepower over here, and there is a chance that that siege workshop also gets denied. Villager could be intercepted, and indeed that siege workshop is gonna go denied, which is a disaster from Heartt over there, and the skirms have enough firepower to kill the archers behind this one. That is a siege workshop that isn't going up over there for Heartt. He is apparently going to start working on grabbing the relics over here with the monastery. But MarineLord has 20 army compared to 8, and honestly, Heartt's base isn't super safe by any means. In fact, there will be an overchop potentially over here. Knights could run past, so technically those knights can get into the eco of Heartt. And for now, MarineLord is playing free TCs, and he also has the water, starts to add fishing ships. Now the real question is, can you actually prevent Heartt from picking up the relics? Because that's the next step for MarineLord. He needs to prevent his opponent from grabbing relics, and that stable could also go down, and that in early Castle Age, this is actually pretty valuable for Heartt. And the fact that that goes down means that even if he picks up relics, it's not really going to be possible for him to use that for anything because he doesn't have other stables. And right now, he's not in a position to rebuild those stables. It's 2 TCs versus 3. That siege workshop was cancelled. The 3rd TC is just coming in here on the relic. So that should be almost a guaranteed relic. Now, this is not something that MarineLord should be doing, though. Like, cleaning up houses in this game is not a thing. This is not AoE free. In AoE free, this would actually make sense. In AoE 2, this does not. You're gonna have to use your knight to something else. And for now, it seems like he's gonna be living big life over here with free TCs. 7 villagers lead. Eco upgrades are looking pretty decent for him. Heartt is also having his few age eco upgrades, but no wheelbarrow. Knights from Heartt have 0 upgrades on them. So as I said, the next step for MarineLord is that he needs to start picking up relics, because right now he's winning in every aspect of the game, with the exception of the fact that Heartt could potentially just destroy everything with Lithuanian knights overall. Alright, so free TCs for Heartt over here, and free TCs for MarineLord, but it's a 12 villagers lead, getting Boso in, and also there is wheelbarrow, so Oh, those are some ugly houses. Why not just use the back of your base for that? Anyways, there is one Voyager being picked off here, and you can dive into this one if you're MarineLord. It's like 1 or 2 knights getting converted for a price of potentially 2 monks and a lot of crossbows over here. So this is actually pretty viable for MarineLord. There is another monk over here, and he decides to disengage. He lost like 4 or 5 knights for pretty much even amounts of units. Not sure if this was actually worth it for him in the long run. Anyways, that's still free TCs, and as I said, MarineLord is gonna have to start picking up relics over here. He's got a knight chilling at this part of the map, and now Monastery comes in here. So, at this very moment, Heartt has a very, very slow-moving army, and probably the army advantage is still in the hands of MarineLord, which means that MarineLord should have no trouble picking this relic up, this relic up, and this relic up, and that would limit Heartt to 2. You could even make a case for MarineLord picking this relic up over here, but he either needs to be a little bit more aggressive or needs to start collecting relics like a madman. Otherwise, he's going to be in the unfortunate situation to be absolutely smashed by Lithuanian knights. There's already 1 relic for Heartt, and one of the ways you lose games against Lithuanians is just letting them grab relics. Anyways, it looks like we are going to have Imperial Age coming in here from MarineLord, because he's getting a university up pretty fast, and that's the only reason why you would do that. If he balances out his eco, he could really go up into Imperial. We do have an outpost being taken down here, nothing really special, as Heartt is just trying to establish some map presence, but that isn't really working out for him, and he could lose 1 or 2 Voyagers to this one as well. MarineLord just needs to sell his wood, and he's gonna be able to go up. Wood price should still be pretty decent overall, so he should be indeed able to go up right now. And when he goes up, he's gonna be able to use the Cavalier power spike, and as I said, the 4 fishing ships doesn't seem like much, but it's a very, very nice and consistent food income. And that also propelled MarineLord into free TC boom. 10 Voyagers lead, but a massive Imperial Age advantage. Heartt isn't far away himself, but it's probably going to be like a solid minute advantage. And that is the minute that you're planning to use to just go for Cavalier and finish off the game. That is where you have to finish off the game. That's a lot of monks. A nice micro by Heartt gets 2 free conversions. Now you have to commit to this one if you're a MarineLord, though. You lost 4 knights to conversions. You might as well commit and kill the monks. Killing the monks here actually makes some sense for MarineLord, though, if you think about that, because that actually delays his opponent going into Imperial. If, once again, if he pays attention, he sees a university, and his opponent isn't really heavy on crossbows. Like, these crossbows don't have armor upgrades whatsoever. You could finish that knight. You could finish that knight, MarineLord. He's gonna do that. No, he's not gonna do that. Lost another knight because of that. But anyways, seeing the university in this case is a heavy indication that your opponent also wants to go into Imperial. At the end of the day, this was an even trade. But as I said, one thing that this does is sort of prevent the ability or limit the ability of Heartt to pick up relics. And Heartt is still only 1 relic. MarineLord is, like, annoyingly slow at picking up relics. In fact, he's completely ignoring relics, which is one way to lose games. Once again, the skills are there, you see that, but the decision-making is what is really, really lacking. So, here is apparently a pikeman switch from him, and remember, Lithuanian Thrash is very, very nice. However, it's only going to be a couple of pikemen, and it's going to be soon Imperial Age Cavalier with probably +4 defense, and Cavalier should be more than viable. MarineLord now sends Voyagers to store, and this is a good timing. He's hitting Imperial, and now he wants to run inside. There is actually no overchops over there. Heartt is gonna have to reroll this one completely. And the real question is, can he do enough damage with these Cavalier? So far, it's not really the case, and I feel like it would have been just much better to run in here. He could have just run in here and destroy everything. He is still not grabbing relics, and I feel like at some point Heartt is going to start just making monasteries right next to relics over there. Anyways, where did the cavalry go? They're falling back home. Feels bad, and you gotta be a little bit more aggressive in this situation if you're a MarineLord. He's 9 on stone, and if he had a castle, he could get Farimba by now with all those resources, but Heartt is grabbing the relics, and I feel like MarineLord isn't playing aggressive enough, and he would be completely fine playing a lot more aggressive. What is he waiting for? He's waiting for upgrades. Okay, that's fine, but the thing is that this is giving a lot of time for Heartt, and he could have gone for this push a lot earlier, to be honest. And yeah, he's gonna kill a couple of villagers, but is that going to be enough to justify for pretty much wasting your 2.5 minutes in pillage advantage against this? These pikemen only have +1 defense. You have to fight this. You have to fight this. If you let Heartt get into Imperial and get Halberdiers, you're going to lose the game here. And I feel like decision-making is once again the bad part for Heartt. Because he's letting his opponent pick up the second relic and, more importantly, lets his opponent tech into Halberdier, and it's a massive difference when it comes to dealing with this one. In fact, this is already too late because there is too much pikemen. There is too many pikemen now, and had he dived in before over here, even with knights, there was like 8 pikemen. And now, he's Cavalier, but Cavalier for what? And remember that he's completely neglecting relics. He still has his relic over here, and I don't want to call it a throw, but this starts to look like a huge throw here. Like, every moment I'm seeing this game, I see more and more capital throw on this. No, MarineLord, what are you doing? And as I said, someone from the expert players, I don't mind. I'm actually volunteering to just sit down with MarineLord for 2 hours and talk about his gameplay, because it is annoying for me that we have a so talented player that is making decisions that even 1300s are not making because they are so bad. Like, I'm not saying that 1300s are bad, I'm saying that 1300s make some very, very bad decisions on time to times. I'm 1300 myself, and I am also making a lot of bad decisions in the heat of the battle, but what I wanted to say is that some of these decisions are absolutely horrendous. And he has thrown away so many opportunities. He's still not grabbing relics, and look at this. It's gonna be 3-4 relics very soon. He completely ignored this relic. He completely ignored this relic. He even ignored this one. And as I said, now don't tell me he's gonna make skirms. Now it's for Imba. It's still not over yet, but now, from a position where MarineLord was dominating this game, he's in a position where it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? Also, please don't make skirms. Malian skirms, what's the point in this one? Malian skirms will be eaten by Lithuanian skirms. If you're actually doing this, and once again, this is lack of experience from MarineLord. The right way to play this one would be with the champ scars. And he should be teching into champions indeed. Because the champions would eat the halberdier, they would eat the crossbow, and monks wouldn't really work out against them. So really, champions would be completely viable in this case for MarineLord, but he's not doing that, and he's losing more and more map presence. In fact, now he's getting outnumbered in army numbers. I feel so bad for MarineLord, because he was winning this game, but it is bad decisions, and oftentimes this is what we're saying, that talented players are separated from pros based on decision making. And MarineLord is playing much, much better than Siege 60. I've casted quite a lot of qualifier games, so I have seen how lower seeds play against higher seeds. He's playing much better than Siege 60. If he actually had good decision making here, he would be Siege 20 or so. He's getting some nice raids in. He still technically has a chance in this game, but now it is going to be, he has to raid his way back into the game. If he's playing this smart, by the way, as he's gonna get a pretty aggressive castle over there, he could be making demos. He could be making demos, and if he made demos, he could just bait a bunch of those halberdiers over there and finish that one off. Now, Heartt apparently is also doing everything he can to throw away a game like this, because that's a lot of skirmishers, and we'll see if that castle goes up or not, and I have some serious doubts about that one. Double doubt castle, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like both of these players are just not willing to win the game. They're making, like, this is going to be not about who's winning this game, it's about who's losing this game here. Oh, the rare double doubt castle indeed. That being said, MarineLord has quite a lot of skirms on the field, and it's not like there is anything that Heartt can do to kill those skirms, funnily enough. These are bad skirms, they don't have Bracer, and if Heartt goes for Tower Shield, he would have +4 defense on these guys as well. Right now, because it's only +2 defense, the castle is being built by one villager. One villager is actually gonna get the castle up. And in the meanwhile, the other castle is not gonna go up, but MarineLord already has traps over here, and it's also worth noting that the mobility advantage is heavily on the side of MarineLord, and he's been raiding left and right over here. In fact, I don't know what happened to that TC, because it was only a couple of light cavs. And now Heartt is going to dive in, try to snap the trap. You actually have to use the Voyagers to repair that. This is not a great fight for Heartt, but neither it is for MarineLord. Siege Workshops for what could be Onagers. I'm not 100% sure here for MarineLord. He's down to 25 army. Floating 2k gold in the bank. Hand Cannoneers might be coming in a little too late. That's the problem. And why not just Champions? Like, Champions would be completely worthless. Tigui! Actually, Tigui makes sense over here to make your TC work, or like make your TC fire arrows, and that could prevent raids a little bit. But it's not like that is your biggest priority right now, my man. Oh, Tigui, bombard cannons on the way. And the thing is that Heartt doesn't really have... well, he has Lattice on the field. And the Lattice will just eat basically all this light infantry over here. However, you have to have castles to make Lattice, and it's only 2 castles right now for Heartt. Soon to be just 1. There is enough villagers to repair against 1 trap, and there is no second trap from MarineLord. Now it's a raid over here, and as I said, I feel like now Heartt is getting ahead in every aspect of the game. So there is no second trap over here from MarineLord, and there is bombard cannons, but this castle is still standing. And when Lattice come in, these skirmishers will be history. So that's the main problem that MarineLord is facing. He sees the Lattice, so he should be prepared for that. As the bombard cannons will now come in. Stone is out for Heartt, and remember that in order to play Lattice though, you have to have castles, and 1 castle isn't necessarily enough. As it looks like now Heartt is going to dive in. Lattice Pierce Armor has been nerfed, but they are still quite formidable as a unit. 2 bombard cannons trying to finish off the castle. Heartt is having an insane hold here, by the way. The trap got picked off. 5 bombard cannons. If you actually make camos here with MarineLord, that could be something, but he needs to use the bombard cannons to take that castle down, like ASAP. Raiding stables coming in here for Heartt. MarineLord also gets quite a lot of raiding damage, but once again, I feel like MarineLord is still on the back foot. And he was in a winning position. It's a matter of... he was... Once the Cavalier power spike was gone, he was no longer in a winning position. And in an even game, especially grindy late game scenario, Heartt is going to be superior coming in with the Lattice. Lattice have pretty good upgrades on them. Remember, they have no bloodlines, by the way, but they do have free relics. And you really gotta ask the question if MarineLord played this one map right. He had the Cavaliers. He could have collected relics the whole game. He didn't do that. He could have committed a little bit more to the Castle Age push, maybe. And now we're talking about 26 army against 35. Camos will be coming in, but camos at this point of the game is going to be pretty expensive, and the lack of map control starts to hurt for MarineLord, let alone the fact that his opponent is going to be sitting on 3 relics, and technically MarineLord has 1 in there, so that means that Heartt has 1 more available somewhere. MarineLord trying to break out over here. When it comes to a full trash war, Malians may still be able to edge out a win here, so just the scouts from Heartt aren't really going to be enough. But this has to be a very, very long and a grindy game, to be honest, for MarineLord. Also, he's low on food, so he's got way more wood than what he needs. He needs to send like 10-15 villagers from wood to farms, and indeed, Malians is one of the best raiding civs. Farimba Light Cav is extremely good at raiding. That's something that MarineLord has to capitalize on. So I feel like he's just playing a little too passive here. Don't Lithuanians have one of the best trash combinations in the game? Yes, they do. Halberdiers are very, very nice for Lithuanians. They're basically fully upgraded, although you need Tower Shield for that to happen. And they also have very, very good skirms. And I think Heartt knows exactly what is going to happen, is the raids. However, how did he think this? This is wide open. This is wide open, and I have told you many times that you can't actually leave this open like that. And if this many Farimba Light Cav get into your eco, that things may turn around, and yes, there is a lot of Lattice here. However, you can't afford to lose, I don't know, 50 eco here, and one of the things that you can do to get back into a game that seems to be lost is just raid your way back in this game. This is what makes MBL a very, very hard player to kill. This is what makes Heartt a very hard player to kill. And army value is still pretty close. And there is going to be camos with Farimba, even though they're not heavy camos. MarineLord killing quite a lot of villagers over here. Heartt with 30 idols and 114 villagers only now. And it looks like the TCs are full. One cool raid could be enough. And another raid comes in here from MarineLord. Is he coming back from the hell? He's up against Free Relics Lithuanians. He had the imp advantage and he seemed like he's throwing that away. However, he has killed 30 villagers of his opponent right now. Heavy Camel comes in. Theoretically, Heartt is still having a much better army composition, and he's sitting on 3 relics. However, we have to keep in mind that the Halberdiers are just getting killed right now, and Heavy Camel is coming in, and Heavy Camel hand cannon may be something that Heartt isn't really prepared for right now. Those bombard cannons are dangerously exposed over there. Look at the Halberdier numbers, though. It's only 14, 30 seconds away from Farimba Heavy Camo, and Farimba Heavy Camo will actually be pretty decent against Laitis, even though, as I said, these Laitis have a pretty sick attack combination right now. MarineLord is gonna need way more villagers on food, though, as Heartt is going to try to do the exact same thing, go for a raid. I wonder if there is any openings here. I don't think there is. MarineLord, seeing that, he's going to dispatch the heavy camos, 17 heavy camos against 16 Laitis. Also, there's quite a lot of skirmisher fire in this one. And castle fire, nice, quick walls from MarineLord. Beautifully done. Bombard cannons may be completely exposed to this one. And now, I feel like Heartt is throwing away a lot of these Laitis over here. He will find the bombard cannons. But Laitis are actually pretty valuable in this scenario. Heartt losing basically all the Laitis, 2 bombard cannons go down. I think 2 more will do that as well. In the meanwhile, MarineLord trying to keep this castle alive. The repair villagers were killed, but Heartt is down to 16 Laitis, and now the heavy camos, especially with little Halberdier support from Heartt, could actually try to clean up that castle, but that's not going to happen. It seems like that castle is going down. MarineLord is still really low on army. I think he needs like a consistent... Is he gonna save that castle? Nope, he won't. That's a little too late. Just a bit too late over here. And the thing is, as MarineLord is trying to rebuild that castle over there, MarineLord needs one more cavalry raid like that. If he can get one more raid in like the one before, he's gonna be able to take over in this game, because replacing the Laitis is gonna be very hard, and it's only 27 Halberdiers on the field. It's only 27 Halberdiers on the field. Imagine what this player could do if he actually didn't make mistakes like he did on islands. If he didn't make, or if he just made any effort towards gathering relics. If he just adds 20 villagers more on farms. He's having 130 villagers, 184 pop. Heartt is only at 140 population. He's got Laitis on the field, but it's not an awful lot of Laitis. And imagine what MarineLord could do if he actually tagged into champions here. With Malians, he could easily tag into champions here and just completely annihilate all those Halberdiers. In fact, he doesn't even need any other champion. Like, he could do that with any other champion in this game. It's not like he needs a lot of pierce armor on those. If he was, I don't know, any civ, he could tag into swordsman and deal with these guys, and that would be somewhat viable against low amounts of Laitis as well. He's trying to play some with skirms that are not having the final attack upgrade, and that hurts so badly. That being said, just a couple of light cav won't do much over here as Heartt is recovering in terms of villager count. Definitely by far the best game in this series. Heartt is down to 32 military and almost double the military value for MarineLord over here. No Halberdier protection once again. The Laitis will go down. Heartt is sitting on 3 relics still over here. And another light cav raid could actually hit this part. Very nice to have Heartt having outposts over here to spot this raid. And now the push is coming in here as well. It's 55 army against 33. What a game this is. And with Malians, you can just afford to raid and raid and raid and raid. That's all you have to do. The mobility is what you're trying to use over here. And Heartt could be once again losing villagers, whereas MarineLord, at least he's not losing vills. His eco is as ugly as it could possibly be, with 6,000 wood being floated. However, you see idols everywhere. And it's 2.9k army value against 5.1k, 58, but 58, it's 38 light cav. But more important, there is skirmisher and hand cannoneer support against the Halberdier in this one. Oh boy, this is a long and grindy game. this is far from over yet. That's the interesting part of this. MarineLord finally figuring out that he's floating like million wood in the bank, and well, now he could potentially tech into champions if he wanted to. But he does not. He doesn't want to tech into champions, and I don't understand why. More and more ranges are coming in here. He's also having quite a lot of gold, so even Arbalest here could make sense, because there isn't really a lot of Lattice on the field, there is no Skirms on the field, and Arbalest would do more than the Skirms do over here. Nice move from MarineLord to track down the Lattice once again. Camels will be enough to clean that one up. And the raid comes in here. 50 villagers still on food though from Heartt, so his food eco is still pretty much intact, but 76 from MarineLord. And that's where the Farimba Lightcap spam is going to continue. Oh man. This is definitely by far the best game in the series, and I wonder really what would have happened on Arabia if that bad TC placement slash hole didn't happen for MarineLord. What would have happened on Islands if he gets a slightly better fuelage time and doesn't mismicro his ships that badly. Hello, champions? Someone wants to play champions? Apparently no. Heartt is having a steady 100 villagers, but it's only 48 on food, 28 on wood. Should be enough to sustain his army for now, but obviously population isn't looking great for him. It's 200 pop against 160. And it's 70 army against 58. Army value is getting close once again. Another castle comes in here for MarineLord. Bay sometimes delivers some very, very grindy and long games in Hidden Cups, and this is one of those. Halberdiers pretty much suicided into the castle over here, and I have no idea what Heartt was thinking here. There's actually murder holes on this castle, guys. There's murder holes on this castle. Heartt has just thrown away a bunch of Halberdiers, and I wonder why. It's not like he's, I don't know, floating population or something like that. He actually needs numbers, and he has thrown away like 20 hobs over there, and meanwhile MarineLord dives in with a bunch of light cavalry. Most of them will be killed by the hobs instantly, but I think MarineLord right now is trying to focus on cleaning this one up over here because he considered that pretty annoying. Another castle is up as he's slowly grinding forward. More and more Lattice are out for Heartt though. He's getting to a dangerous count of Lattice, and in the meanwhile MarineLord only has 13 camels. Soon it's going to be even lower, and even just a couple of Lattice getting to your eco could be dangerous, but there is a couple of camels here that should be enough to hold them off for the time being. And look at that, MarineLord securing that gold for himself. Bombard cannons once again slightly mispositioned as Heartt is still sitting on 3 relics. I wonder where the final relic is, because no one seems to have it. MarineLord has 1, Heartt has 3, which means 1 relic is somewhere out in the open still, and no one knows where, to be honest. Light Cav, apparently Heartt has walled himself up now completely, so the Light Cav will no longer be able to flank from that direction. Where is the final relic? No one knows. No one actually knows where that is. But it is 79 army, 80 army against 49. Army value is almost double as well in here, and still no barracks in this one. Still no barracks. That is just crazy. Camel was taking an okay-ish engagement here against the Lattice, but Lattice with +3 attack might prove to be a little bit too much for them. MarineLord is able to take some gold over here. I think this is spotted by Heartt. And really, MarineLord had the option to pick up at least 3 relics in this game. If he actually went for the 3 relics that early, he would be leading by now, because the Lattice would be way less strong, and he would also be having a nice little extra gold income for himself. Lattice now once again trying to dive in for the Bombard Cannon. Bombard Cannon takes down 1 trap. The castle is still alive. There is only 3 villagers repairing. That is not sufficient. And the military numbers once again in the favor of Heartt. And it is decision making. How many times have I said this? If there was champions on the field right now for MarineLord and he could do that easily, this would be a different game. If he actually committed a little bit more to picking up the relics early on, his opponent wouldn't be sitting on 3 relics with Lithuanians. That's a beautiful trap snipe though from MarineLord. He's holding on for the time being. The problem is that the army values are now equaling out. And in the meanwhile, Heartt still has golden stone in this corner, whereas MarineLord is losing ground, although he still has a gold mine over here and he picks off some villagers. But population is dropping for MarineLord. He could do champions. Champions don't need that much gold. And also, you're floating 3,000 wood, you might as well sell some. Yes, he could do champions. And in fact, he should have done that a lot earlier, so... he shouldn't be, you know... be at 1 hour 11 minutes with Malians against an opponent that was 4 hubs. And there is still gold available for him, by the way. Anyways, that is an attempt to snipe the traps over here from MarineLord. The traps are still alive, the castle still stands, MarineLord is running out of stone. One trap goes down, but I feel like now he's getting overrun by the army quality and it seems to slowly spiral out of his control. Oh man, oh man. And now Heartt is getting chemistry, so if Heartt starts to get skirms on the field, which is something that he could have done a lot earlier as well, then Heartt is going to finish this game off, because Lithuanian skirms are just much better, and finally... It might be just pikemen though from him, we don't know, but this is way too late now for MarineLord, and as I said, little mistakes for him. He was in a position to pick up relics earlier. Remember that Heartt wasn't really moving out of his base. Heartt was chilling back at home, and I was telling you that MarineLord could easily grab the relic in the middle, easily grab the relic on this side, and potentially grab this one as well. How did he allow Heartt to have 3 legs? That is unthinkable for me. And yeah, it's pikeman, it is not champion for him. I expected something like that over here from him. Heartt still getting his eco rated, but now he has the eco lead. Population is still really close, but I feel like, as I said, this is just a slow and painful death from MarineLord, unless he's able to get some insane raids with the light cav. MarineLord's only hope now seems to be if he's able to cripple the eco of Heartt over here. That's the only chance that he's having, really. That he needs to somehow just slow down and completely stop this never-ending flow of Latiss and Halberdiers. Because, I mean, Malian pikemen, that is not gonna work out well. Like, Latiss with +3 relics against Malian pikemen. Malian pikemen are lacking Blast Furnace, they don't have Halberdier. Oh man. I'm a little bit sad here for MarineLord because I feel like he could have made this series a lot more competitive, and I was right about thinking that he's got the skills to beat Heartt. It's a matter of decision making, and there were very, very bad decisions made throughout this entire series by him. I think what MarineLord needs to become a top 30, potentially even a top 20 player, is to sit down with a pro and talk through his games like this. Someone needs to tell him that, hey, with Malians in this situation, you can tech into champion. Not now, because it's too late. But that could have happened earlier. The relics, the fact that he underestimated the importance of the relics over here, potentially, or so. So, there were mistakes. Yeah, obviously this is his first tournament, but as I said, I feel like he is one of those players who could be, with the skill set that he has, he could also be potentially having a chance to qualify. And it just feels bad to see that... for me, it always feels bad to see players losing games on decision making. I don't know why. I understand if some player is slower than the other and makes execution mistakes, but for me, it hurts more to see decision making mistakes from players. Not just MarineLord, but all players combined. Just seeing players losing games on with decision making mistakes is... much harder for me to see than it is to lose on execution. So now we're just waiting for the GG here. Obviously, as you guys have said, indeed, MarineLord, this is his first major tournament that he's playing in. That's totally true, and he has put up a fight. This game has shown that he was far, far, far better than Seed 60. This was Seed 5 against Seed 60, and this game has really shown that MarineLord has the skill set. He needs someone to clean up his game, and then MarineLord is going to be a very dangerous player. He is really the definition of the raw talent right now in competitive Age of Empires. He's trying his best right now, but I feel like this is slowly spiraling out of his control. Maybe like there is a less than 5% chance here that if he can slow down this push and simultaneously get a lot of raids in with light cav, that could be something. He's still 71 on food. So that could potentially be the case. He's got 10 stables. I think he needs a lot more stables to do that, though. So, like, his only hope is to somehow cripple the eco of Heartt, but I feel like that window might have already closed. It's very hard to say. It's very, very hard to say. He's getting a couple of villager kills, but this is, like, this is beyond the scope of being able to be stopped with light cav only. So, yeah, this game has really shown the potential that is just lying within MarineLord. He needs to clean up his game in terms of decision making. But this is also a huge positive for him. You know why? Because decision making is easier to clean up than actually execution-based mistakes. A faster player is going to be having a much better chance at, you know, cleaning up his decision making and becoming a top player than it is for a slow player to, you know, decision making is one thing, but if you're slow, you're gonna get out microed today because there is so many fast players out there. What was the decision making mistake? There was a couple. I feel like the biggest one was that he had the massive military advantage in early Imperial, yet he made very little effort to pick up relics. If we just look away from everything else, because indeed you could make a case that, hey, he didn't feel like he could afford champions and whatnot. You can't let Lithuanians sit on 3 relics, and the reality is that he only has 1 relic inside this monastery. We don't know where the final relic is. It's probably lost somewhere in this carnage. However, in reality, he basically allowed the Lithuanian player to sit on 4 relics, which is basically GG for itself, right? So I have absolutely no clue where the final relic is. Not even the slightest idea. There is no monks on the field for... Actually, there is a monk for MarineLord somewhere. So he may be holding on to that. But it is somewhat unlikely. So the relic is either dropped somewhere, or we don't know. It's covered by production building. I'm trying to find it, but we're not going to find it. But anyways, if you go back in this game, you're going to see that at some point, MarineLord had 30 Cavalier, and that could have been the moment. In fact, even earlier, he was pushing the base of Heartt. He's pushing this side. He could have picked this relic up. He could have picked this relic up, and he could have picked this relic up over here. 3 relics should have been in his hands very, very easily. It's in MarineLord's base. It might be. I don't know. But anyways, even 2 relics here for the situation was a little bit too low. This should have been 3 or 4 relics for MarineLord because he was in a position to do that. That being said, I feel like the first 2 games were a disaster for MarineLord. This third one really has shown how much talent he has. And as I said, now you have seen what MarineLord can do in terms of execution, and now you may understand why I'm a big MarineLord fan myself. Because I feel like he's extremely talented, and he could be the next Winchester Leary out there if he actually commits time to this. And he's committing a lot of time to this one, so there is a good chance that in 2021, he's going to start surprising people by the end of the year. I think that he needs a couple of more months, or he needs at least about 20-30 hours of coaching from an expert player in terms of decision making. But if he cleans that up, he's going to be a top player, and he's going to have the skill set to be a top 20, top 30 player out there. And I'm really rooting for him because I feel like the talent is there, so it is only about how much you can get out of the mental part and the decision-making part of this game.